So yesterday we talked about samples, different methods we can use to sample and pull information, and also how that information could be biased. And we want to think about that. So today we're going to talk about how you can organize data. This chapter really is all about collecting, displaying, and organizing data and analyzing it. So the two things that we're going to talk about today are tables and stem and leaf plots. Copied on your target. Remember that the whole point of this really is you think every company advertises in some way, especially within their firm. They're going to be using bar graphs and line graphs and tables to organize their information. So we just want to make sure that you understand how to organize them, how to read them, and how to analyze. Organizing data in a table, you've seen tables before. It helps in understanding and the meaning and recognizing relationships. So, you know, recognizing, okay, we have different sports, we have male and female, and we can see the information nice, neat, and easy on how many students participate in each one. When you do use a table, you want a title, and you want to make sure you title each of the sides. So let's create a table for example 1. Jacob wants to keep track of his reading progress in House of Scorpions for English class. On Monday, he read 7 pages in the morning and 9 pages at night. On Tuesday, he read 5 pages in the morning and 9 pages at night. And on Wednesday, he read 8 pages in the morning and 7 pages at night. So, you know, when you take a look at this, we're talking about reading, and you may notice that we see a couple of things here that are happening. We have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday information, and we also have 7 pages in the morning, 5 pages in the morning, and 8 pages in the morning. And those morning numbers might be compared to the pages at night. I like to kind of highlight and think about this before I create my table. So when you create this, you have to display the information for those 3 different days and comparing the morning and the night. You can set up a table multiple ways, but I'm going to set it up thinking, okay, I have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I'm going to have information for all 3 of those days. And within those days, I'm going to have morning and night. Now you could switch this, okay? Morning and night could have been the horizontal ones, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday could be over here. Doesn't matter. Both would work. Now that you have your table, you can fill in the information. On Monday morning, I had 7 pages. On Monday night, I had 9 pages. On Tuesday morning, Jacob read 5 pages. On Tuesday night, he read 9 pages again. And then on Wednesday, he read 8 pages in the morning and 7 pages at night. So this just helps us to look at what happened and maybe, you know, be able to analyze. If I'm looking at this table, I might start thinking, okay, I noticed that typically he reads more pages at night than in the morning. He probably has more time in the evenings. So it's just a nice way to see and organize the data. You've done tables before, so this shouldn't be new. Again, you could do it the other way. You could do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, morning, night. Once we have a table, a stem and leaf plot, really, it's like a table for numbers. It's just a little bit different, okay? It is another way to organize and display data. And the difference is that the values are really grouped so that all but the last digit is the same in each category. So you're going to have a part that's called the stem. And what is the stem, or how do you determine the stem? Fill this in. It's all the digits of the data values. Fill it in, please. Except the last digit. So it'll be all the digits except the last digit. So if these numbers were in thousands, if it was 2,320, 2,302 would be over here. Just the last digit, just the 0 from the 20 would be the leaf. So the stem is all the digits of the data values except the last digit. That means the leaf then is the last digit of the data values. for a stem and leaf plot, you should always title it, and you absolutely always, always, always need a key. This part right here is really important because it's going to show somebody who maybe isn't familiar with stem and leaf plots how they can read it. So always have a key. The key shows you, so if I have a 3 and then I have this line and then I have a 6, that means 36. So the numbers would be 134, 136, 138. This would be 150. This one isn't just 7, it would be 147. So the key shows the reader how to put the stem and the leaf together. So let's create one. In example 2, Shelley saved money from her summer job to save for a new laptop. She recorded what she saved each week. Create a stem and leaf plot for the data values. So reading the top, I kind of already have a title. Shelley's saving money. So it's Shelley's, and she's saving this money each week. So Shelley's weekly savings. I'm going to have a stem and I'm going to have a leaf. So my stem is typically, and you don't have to write the word stem, but I'm going to write it just so we make sure we know. The stem is going to be on the left and the leaves are going to go out to the right. It helps if you put the data in order first. So you may want to do that, okay? If you only have a few, you may not need to do this, but we have a lot. Let's make sure we get them in order. So the smallest value I see is 43. Then I see 57. Then 72. Oh, I have another 72. Then I see 73, 75, 76, 81, 84, 91, and now I have this 110, 114. Now that they're in order, we want to look at our lowest value and our highest value to determine the stems. So my lowest value is 43 and my highest value is 114, which means, remember, the stem is all the numbers but the last digit. So the last digit here is 3. 4 is going to have to be in my stem. And my stem is going to have to go all the way up to 11 because 4 over here is going to be the stem, the leaf. So I have to show in my stems 4 up to 11. You should not skip any numbers in your stems. We want to show all of them. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You don't have to start the stem at 1 or 0, but you do have to go from the lowest to the highest. Now when you list the leaves, guys, just list the last digit of each one. They're already in order for you. Do not use commas. Sometimes I do see stem and leaf plots with commas, but I don't think that you should use them. They don't typically have them, so I would not put a comma in your leaf. 43. So 43, you're just putting the 3 next to the 4. Then in the 50s, there's one value, so 57, 5, the 7 goes next to the 5. 60s, when there's no values in that range, you just skip over it. So there'll be nothing next to that 6. 70s, okay, I have multiple. 72, 72, 73, 75, 76. 80s, I have one value, 81. I also had, I have two values actually. I had 84, sorry, that got erased, and 91. So 84 goes next to the 1. 91, in the 100 range, I actually don't have any there either, so you skip that. In the 11 range, I have 110, 114. The last thing I need here is my stem and leaf plots key. When you write the key, I like to choose one of the first values in my table or in my stem and leaf plot so they can see it. So I would just use the 4 and then draw the line with the 3 and tell the reader what that means. 4 line 3 means 43. That's the value that you're talking about. There's your stem and leaf plot, guys. And the nice thing about stem and leaf plots, and you don't have to draw this in, but it's almost like a sideways bar graph. It shows you where you have data values. So I can see how the data is spread out. I can see these holes where there are no values, and I can see that there are a lot of values in the 70s. All right, so find the median amount of money. Sometimes you are asked to do this from a stem and leaf plot, and hopefully you remember that the median is another word for middle. The nice thing about the stem and leaf plot is the data values are already in order. So all you have to do is find the middle from the lowest to the highest. On the stem and leaf plot, kind of think, okay, 43, 114 is the highest. 57, 110 is the next. 60s, there's nothing. 72 is the next lowest value. 91 is the next highest value. 72 again, 84. So I'm just kind of marking lower, higher. So these are my two middles. That means 75 and 76 are closest to the middle. Remember, to find the middle or the median, you find the middle of those two terms. You'll learn this in the next section if you don't remember it, but if you do remember it, you're finding the average. You're adding them together and dividing by 2. So the median here of this one would be 75 and 5/10. Stem and leaf plots kind of help you do that because you can count low to high and find the middle of it. You also have a back-to-back stem and leaf plot, and all this is it's a stem and leaf plot with leaves on both sides. So it allows you to compare two sets of data. So maybe you want to keep track of how many minutes you spend on the phone, maybe a period or maybe each month. You can kind of compare the numbers right next to each other. The only difference is you need to make sure you have two keys. You still need a title, you still need a key, so fill those in again, but you need two. You need to tell me how to read it both ways. One thing I want to note about this, notice they go from least to greatest from the stem. 53, then 57. Over on this side, this would be 50, 50, then 58. So always put your smaller data values closer to the stem. Let's try this. Use a back-to-back stem and leaf plot to represent this data. And we have U.S. representatives for 1950 and 2000. So those are the 2 years I'm comparing. That means those are going to be my two leaves. It doesn't matter which side you put them on. So I'll say this is the 1950s and this is 2000s. And then look at all the low and high values to determine your stem. So the lowest value I see up here is 10, and the highest value I see up here is 43. That means I need to have my stem going from 1, 2, 3, 4. You should be comfortable doing the 2000, okay? So fill them in. We have 10, then we have 15, then we have 19 and 19, and then we have 29. Now on the other side, go from the stem, 14 and then 18. So the 4 goes closer, then the 8. It builds out. Then 25, then 31. We need two keys here, so we're going to have a key for both sides. If you have the 4 and then the 1, this means, remember 1's the stem, 14. If you have the stem first and put both lines on there, and then a number, this means 10. So you're reading it both sides. Last part, guys, find the mean and the range for each year. Remember, mean is average. Add them all up and divide by how many there are. Show me your work for each year. Range, take the highest value minus the lowest value for each set and find that range. Pause and do this, and then I'll show you the work. All right, so hopefully you found the average for each year and you found the range. Remember, to find the average, you add up all the data values and then divide by how many there are. So you would add these up and divide by 5. For 1950, it's 26.2. For 2000, it's 18.4. Then to find the range, you do the highest value minus the lowest value of each set. So you have a range of 29 and a range of 19. So you can kind of see that the data is more spread out in the 1950s than in 2000, and that the mean is closer together. It's lower, though, in 2000 than in 1950. All right, you're ready for your quick check.